It worked. Boom. Cool. Oh my God.
Come on, Jake.
They did it, AP.
Come on, Jake.
I did not expect that the way
Come
this is
on.
going. Okay, so I'm just going to put this way. I tell you 6 days ago, Nikola Jokic is going to have his second and fourth worst playoff games of his career.
Second and fourth,
according to Game Score, which is a metric that kind of encompasses everything. It's kind of like fantasy points. Second and fourth worst playoff games of his career to start the series through 3 games. The Nuggets are
losing
3-0.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Nuggets are up 2-1. The Denver Nuggets are up 2-1. They're quite not the favorites yet. I looked at the odds. They are not the favorites yet to win this series. But the Oklahoma City odds, according to Vegas, are all the way down to like minus 180.
Wow.
So the money, the smart money, is starting to shift on the Denver Nuggets after they win in overtime, 113-104. In that overtime, I'm trying to think of the game. Maybe it was against Phoenix this year where they completely just shut them down.
What game? I think it was Phoenix.
Yeah, but they've done that before, and it was so impressive.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, I thought that Denver was dead to rights at numerous times throughout the course of this game because Oklahoma City did not shoot the 3-ball well whatsoever tonight. And to your point where you kind of started the show, that's the worst I've seen. I understand the game score, but even just from the eye test, that is the worst that I've seen Nikola Jokic. I'm not going to include the last game just because that one was over and done with.
Yeah.
But like in a game in which Denver was in, that's the worst I've seen the big fella maybe ever. And Denver still figured out a way to win this game here tonight. So all in all, a tip of the cap, that championship medal. Aaron Gordon does it again. Michael Porter Jr., welcome to the playoffs. And Jamal Murray does Jamal Murray things.
To your point, what you just said, the other games in which Nikola Jokic had a worse game score, lost by 20, lost by 50, lost by 27. So they don't win these games, historically speaking.
No.
But the MVPs were both bad. It wasn't just Nikola Jokic, and we can get back to Jokic, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was horrible down the stretch in this game. Didn't shoot in overtime, missed his last 7 shots, and a lot of it was Jamal Murray's defense. Like, you actually have to credit Jamal Murray's defense, but you've got the MVP of the league against Jamal Murray, and you can't score. Forget the Jokic being bad. I wouldn't have told you that the Nuggets win the cast game of who's supporting cast wins when both guys are bad. I would have told you the Nuggets are getting smoked in that game in this series, and the Nuggets just won it tonight.
Yeah, and again, I think that's and you and I were talking about it briefly before we started the pod here. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought Denver was cooked when they went to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Just the body language. Jokic looked exhausted. Jamal looked exhausted, right? MPJ, a little bit of an anomaly of a game for him compared to where he's been at all playoffs. And the fact that Denver played their best basketball in the overtime period, outscoring the Thunder 11-2. And I forget the exact metric, and I forget if you and I were the ones who were talking about it on the show. OKC in 1-score games and pressure cooker, lights bright type of scenarios, not very good. When Oklahoma City wins, they tend to win big. So that is one advantage that Denver has on them, regardless of the roster, regardless of how bad Jokic played tonight. When the game is close and the lights are the brightest, Denver continues to show they deliver.
Okay, so on the note that we talked to last podcast, these teams told us who they were in the regular season. What you just said, AP, on top of the fact of we had that game January 4th against the Spurs. Nuggets outscore them 14-3 in overtime. Then the Nuggets have that game against Phoenix on March 7th that goes to overtime. They allow 16 points, but they scored 24. So the Nuggets in 2 different overtime games this year, which, by the way, they are undefeated in overtime this year on the season, except for that Minnesota game with Russell Westbrook. They told us that they can go to another level offensively or defensively, and they did a mix of both in tonight's overtime. And I think the Thunder, well, they're playing a little bit of their style. The Nuggets aren't playing their style either. The Nuggets are reverting back to that 2023 championship medal style of just playing in a rock fight and holding teams to 100 points and doing things that we frankly haven't seen them really do this year. 100%. So it's kind of a mold of things we were told about this team throughout the course of the regular season with it dialing up to a new level. And I know I'm speaking in like hyperbole and like hypotheticals here, but that's kind of what this is. It's a mentality thing, as we've been talking about throughout the course of the postseason. And when you have a talent disadvantage like the Denver Nuggets do, you better hope the other team shoots 25% from 3. That helps. But It also kills you when you get absolutely smoked on the boards, which should be the Nuggets' biggest disadvantage. And there's so many numbers that prove that the Nuggets had no business being in this game, but they hang around. And like we said on the last show, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this season, when he plays 30 minutes or fewer, 19-1 in those games, including game 2. Shai played big minutes tonight, 44 minutes, but it goes to show you, when he plays big minutes, they lose because they don't play that many close games, and that's the games he needs to play big minutes. And David Adelman said as much in the postgame. He was kind of on this thing about, we just got to hang around, force their guys to play big minutes like our guys do, and the more we force them to hang around, the more they're going to make mistakes and get uncomfortable, and that's when our guys thrive.
100%, and that is the recipe. I mean, Denver needs to play a little bit of a throwback, scrap them up, beat them up type of game if they want to win this series. I mean, that's been the common denominator. And it's interesting because this game actually felt a bit similar to game 1. And I understand that Jokic was much better, but he had 42 and 20 something in game 1. So take that out of the equation. But to your point, hanging around, picking and choosing your spots and going pedal to the metal when Oklahoma City's at their worst, when they're frazzled, which happens to be late in these games. So look, I understand that it's ugly at sometimes. I mean, I don't think, much like how I don't think Jokic is going to play as bad as he did tonight in the rest of the series, I don't expect Oklahoma City to shoot as poorly from 3 as they did tonight. They didn't even make 10 3-point shots tonight. Oklahoma City, 9 of 35. That's good for 25.7% from beyond the arc tonight.
Bad for.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad for 25%.
Right. And so that's the thing.
And by the way, they also shot 68% at the foul line,
which has been something that Denver's been bugged with.
David Adelman pointed this out. Oklahoma City had 19 more shots in this game than the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets won.
Crazy.
That is just that the math does not work on that. It goes to show you how bad Oklahoma City shot. But I truly thought in the second half, while they did miss a lot of shots in the first half, the second half, the Nuggets defense was fantastic.
100%. And I think that's the thing, is they wanted to keep some reserve oil, reserve gas for the second half. I mean, the first half was up and down, to your point, Oklahoma City missing shots, but Denver came out of the halftime with a renewed energy, with renewed confidence, with a renewed message. And I loved Russell Westbrook there at one point in the game, grabbing the whiteboard, drawing up plays. Coach Russ, we've seen Coach Jokic, and I think that speaks to the overall camaraderie and the chemistry that this Denver Nuggets team has right now. And I understand that maybe they're not as talented as the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're not as talented as they were last year or the year prior when they won the NBA championship. But the one unwavering thing, frankly, since Michael Malone got fired, a decision that I was curious and questioning, belief. There's belief within this team.
3-0, 4-3, 2-1. So that's 5, 9, 9-5.
I believe
9-4
record.
9-4 with David Adelman as the head coach, including 9 playoff games. Just incredible stuff. If this
10 playoff games, because it went 7, and this was game 3. Yes,
on Jake and AP do math.
Numbers. We're in media for a reason. Folks.
So 9-4.
Point blank, good record, winning record.
And if this goes the way this is kind of trending, and we hinted at this after game 1, it's going to be one of the all-time stories in sports history.
Oh, man.
That if they can pull this the way this is going, and look, I don't mean to look too far ahead, because this is the best team in the NBA, and they proved so over the course of the regular season. Anthony Edwards twists his ankle last night. Steph Curry's already hurt.
Don't go there.
The Knicks are up 2-0. The Cavs, I know they came back and beat the Pacers, but the Pacers are up 2-0. We're up 2-0. There are a lot of things that broke the right way for the Nuggets in the 2023 playoffs, and we're getting a similar vibe to that right now. So if the Nuggets can make it through this series, and that is a huge if.
Big if.
They just beat the best team in the NBA and things are breaking their way. You've got to like the way things are going. So again, when I told you after game 1, this is the highest you could possibly be about the Denver Nuggets season and their hopes this season, I'm right back there. I'm even higher tonight now that they're up 2-1. I mean, AP, 16 games is what it takes. They've got 6 down. They've got 10 to go.
Yeah, and I have a thought if they do get past this round. I'm not going to throw it out there yet. I'll save that for when Denver eventually gets past Oklahoma City. But I think another dynamic that we need to talk about tonight is how well they play in the non-Jokic minutes. I mean, that tends to be the Achilles heel of this Denver Nuggets team. You saw that stint there in the second quarter, and then, of course, in the second half there. I thought the non-Jokic minutes were about as good as it gets tonight. I believe they were a +5 in the non-Jokic minutes.
So I think they went +5 in the first half, then they were even in the second
Right.
in the non-Jokic minutes. And David Adelman is so smart. And I can point to actually specific basketball things here because I was here tonight and we're still at Ball Arena.
Yes,
so,
we are live at Ball Arena, folks.
Yeah.
I know you can't see the court, but we are in the trenches right now.
Well, literally the highest place possible. So what's the
we're in the nest.
The nest.
I always call it the nest up here.
Okay.
It's so cozy and nice and love it up here.
So to end the first quarter, Russell Westbrook is in there with the starters pretty much. And Oklahoma City lets him be wide open. They're letting him shoot threes. The Nuggets missed 2 threes with Russ. Then the third time down, they basically look off Russ wide open in the corner. Peyton Watson goes to the foul line for some free throws. It was a really tough play under the basket. He missed both of the free throws, but they didn't want Russ to shoot. That was pretty clear. So first play of the second quarter, they come out and David Adelman gives Russell Westbrook the ball. What's the first thing you're going to do if you're Oklahoma City and Russell Westbrook's got the ball? You're going to guard him.
Right.
So all of a sudden, Russ turns into a facilitator, and it completely changes the way Oklahoma City was guarding early in the second
100%.
quarter. So I thought that was a great draw from David Adelman. Another great draw from David Adelman. And I was going to ask him a question about this, but it was too busy tonight, and I'll probably ask him tomorrow if I can. So when the Kings were at their best, when his father, Rick, was the coach, they had 2 great bigs. It was Chris Webber and Vlade Divac.
Yep.
And one of the things that was common in the NBA back in the day that you never see anymore is bigs setting post-to-post screens. First play of the second half with Nikola Jokic reeling, he has Aaron Gordon set Jokic a screen as he comes across the paint, and Jokic gets wide open for an easy bucket. I thought that was going to completely change Jokic's night. Obviously, it didn't. And then the third great draw from David Adelman in this game, and people hated this shot because Jokic was 0 for 10 from 3 and was struggling. The third great draw was with 2 seconds left. You got the best player in the NBA a very good look at winning that game.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets run that play a lot. And simply Jokic just didn't hit the shot tonight. But that was 3 amazing draws that I saw without even watching the film yet to see if there was any more from David Adelman. So I was super impressed with him. They played that zone defense a ton tonight.
Yes.
And when they weren't, they were playing this man where they would kind of half hedge and help on SGA. They kind of let Chet Holmgren go off at certain points throughout this game. He had 18 points. And it was really up to Jalen Williams, who had 32 points, who was the best player in this game. Do not get me wrong. Jalen Williams was the best player in this game. But the Nuggets forced the Thunder to play away from SGA, and it was because of some really good coaching decisions from David Adelman, as well as the mentality of the guys on the floor.
100%, and I think the guy that it really embodied that mentality tonight, and for those of you that, like, it's also crazy the duality of covering these games, like when they're on the road and we're not there and you're watching the broadcast versus being in person. I thought Jamal Murray's body language tonight was great.
Oh, my God.
And he was tired and labored at times, but he had that, like, that look in his eye, like the facilitating, the leadership. And I just thought that Jamal tonight was the heartbeat that Denver needed with Nikola Jokic not playing good really at all. Obviously, Aaron Gordon hit the big shot. Michael Porter Jr. was in rhythm tonight from 3, something that we haven't seen throughout the course of the playoffs. But I thought Jamal Murray played like a general tonight, and that's ultimately maybe something that gets a little thrown under the rug. Jamal was critical in this win.
Nobody played more minutes in this game than Jamal Murray.
48, right?
Yeah, of course he was labored.
Crazy.
Of course he was labored. You know, he played 48 minutes in this game. The Nuggets could not take him out of the game because of the way Jokic was playing. He couldn't facilitate the offense tonight in the way that he normally does. Jamal got to the line 8 different times, and I thought it was really smart of the Nuggets to kind of change their approach at different courses through this game because they could not get a foul call on Jokic in the post.
Right.
And even late in the game, I thought they were cooked because Jokic goes up with that shot, down 3, both bigs hit him. They can't get the foul call. I thought that was a grave error having that be the shot. But they switched from post moves and Jokic working on the nail where he was getting fouled every time to driving more. Jokic drove a little bit more. Jamal drove a little bit more. And the refs were calling fouls on drives tonight. Oklahoma City went to the line 22 times. You know, the Nuggets went to the line 24 times, led by Jamal's 8. So I thought that was a really important adjustment and a really good recognition of Jamal Murray just on the execution. And you have these games where, you know, the Jamal Murray shot-making experience is unbelievable in person. The one he had in the third quarter on the reverse over Chet Holmgren, a couple of the shots in the mid-range, and it gets old hat because he does it in every game, but it's insane. me and you could sit all day trying to hit that trick shot in an open gym. It's not going in.
Yeah.
Like it's just
unreal.
The level that he has is unbelievable.
He is such an interesting player to cover and just think about, because he has plays like that. He has performances like we've seen before where he's an all-NBA player. It's a guy that's never made an all-star team. I don't want to, feed a fed horse, right? We all know this, but like playoff Jamal, right? That's what he's been coined as. I mean, he really just takes this team up to another notch. And I think he had 27 points tonight. I thought he had a good game across the board, but I just think his leadership and his mentality is the best thing that we saw from him tonight.
Plus 14 in a game that goes to overtime. Yeah. You don't need to say much more than that.
And I understand Denver won the game, so these are going to be skewed, but every single starter tonight for OKC in the minus in the box plus.
Yeah. Again, for SGA, who's plus minus in the series, is going to be skewed by the game 2 blowout. He has been a minus now in 2 different games in this series.
Did you hear the free throw merchant chants?
I did not.
They were started over here by me, so they didn't catch on.
By you? You were chanting tonight?
Well, there was actually fans. It's funny because where the press box is, like it's right next to where the fans sit. I'm sitting against the railing trying to shoot the Jokic potential game winner, and I got fans coming up to me like, "We're gonna win this game. Let's effing go. Let's do this. Let's do that." And then we go to overtime, and they're scoring. They're pointing at me. They're pumping their fist. I mean, Ball Arena was electric tonight. And David Adelman actually had an interesting quote about how like the barns are different now compared to back in the day when they were differently built, more intimate, college type of arenas. I mean, I thought Ball Arena was rocking tonight. And again, we're still talking game 3, but they're going to need that game 4 if they want to go up 3-1.
Yeah, you're going to need the Denver brunch crowd to come out here on a Sunday the same way they did
Mother's Day,
Saturday
baby.
For game 7, Mother's Day. I hear Jamal Murray loves moms. Just putting that out there. Aaron Gordon loves moms. Maybe that works. Aaron Gordon
things
tonight.
I can't say on the show.
Aaron Gordon tonight.
Hey, man.
Another clutch shot. MPJ says it best. The Nuggets don't win 3 playoff games if AG doesn't make a shot. And he hits the biggest shot of the game in the corner, a 3 to tie it. Both of us thought it was over when the Nuggets didn't score on the possession before. But Jamal Murray gets the stop on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They come down. Aaron Gordon's wide open in the corner. And as MPJ said it, to not get too religious and divine, but MPJ says he's got an angel on his shoulder right now. And it's absolutely true. And it's, I mean, we did the whole Aaron Gordon, how cool this thing is already, but just being here and seeing it in person with the crowd cheers when AG gets introduced and all the things he's doing on defense. I actually didn't think he was all that amazing tonight. Like I thought he was good. And then I look at the box score and he's 7 for 11. And, he's the second leading rebounder for the Nuggets. Like he just does everything in the margins for the Nuggets. And that's what it takes to win a playoff game is the margins.
How's RJ Hampton doing? I mean, you want to talk about a fleece trade for Denver. That's obviously beyond the point, but I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Aaron Gordon is the reason why Denver's up 2-1. Aaron Gordon is the reason why Denver's not in Cancun right now. I mean, he has been so incredible, and we can go on and on about the adversity that he's faced, but I think on the basketball court, I'm at the point when he took that shot, I expected it to go in. And you want to talk about growth from Aaron Gordon. I mean, look at his three-point shooting percentage this year compared to the last few seasons. I mean, he has upped the ante in the three-point shooting throughout the entire course of this season. I mean, it's been nothing short of spectacular, and I think that's the sign of growth. And again, we talk about time and time again, more so in the losses and the wins, about this roster and how they're flawed and how they're not deep. Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. tonight are the reason why Denver can still go out there and contend for a championship. What Aaron Gordon has done, and let's talk about this as well, talking about Gast and Jokic and Murray and body language and this and that. Mm-hmm. Aaron Gordon missing as much time as he did with the injury, and let's knock on wood here, actually might end up being beneficial for Denver because he's fresher than the rest of the guys.
That take. I like that take.
I mean, I think it's a valid take, though. I mean, he has less mileage on his legs than everybody else combined. I mean, I know Murray missed some time early in the year as well, but I mean, Gordon missed what felt like almost half of the season. I'm sure it wasn't quite that much, but
no, it was. I think he missed 50. Let's see, he missed 40 games.
A lot of games.
He missed almost 40 games.
And so I think, obviously not by design, but I think he's fresh, and that's what you need is fresh legs going up against this young, hungry Oklahoma City team.
So I don't have the stat in front of me, to your point, Robert, but Aaron Gordon is shooting 41% from 3 in this playoffs. And the shot he had, AP, where he's coming behind, and Jokic is setting the screen, and he comes back behind, only the most elite forwards in the league even attempt that shot. And it was just nails right away. I mean, that's a Steph Curry shot. That's a Damian Lillard shot. So the way he's shooting the 3, it's not like these are just open 3s in the corner, because that was the start of the season that led to like the start of this percentage, right? Now he's shooting really tough shots and pressure shots. So impressed with where AG's at. I mean, he's metamorphosized his game, not only coming from Orlando and turning into a role player, but now metamorphosized his game from being one of the most elite athletes in the league to turning into one of the most skilled and IQ heavy players in the league. And it's just so fun to watch his career develop. I mean, the big question a lot of Nuggets fans are asking me right now is, right there in the rafters, is it going to be 50 or 32 hanging up? That's going to be a conversation for another day, because
why not both?
Yeah, why not both at this point, especially if this thing keeps shaping out the way it is. So AG, so impressive. Mike battling through the shoulder injury. You know, a lot of people have been so hard on Mike. I haven't gotten it because they literally don't have another choice. Zeke Naji played tonight. Yes. That's how much the Nuggets do not have another choice but to give Mike a run with one arm.
100%. And I don't know how many of the viewers out there listen. You should listen to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. But I was on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think it was the Wednesday show. We were previewing game 2, and obviously let's forget about that game. But I was defending Michael Porter Jr., and I said he's going to show up. He'll come through. And I had texters and co-hosts and producers all being like, you're crazy. Well, Michael Porter Jr. tonight showed up. And this is a guy also dealing with a ton of adversity. And I understand that he's a hot and cold player. That's just who he's been throughout the course of his career. But again, I can't stress it enough. On a night where Nikola Jokic didn't have it. Yes, we just talked about Aaron Gordon, but Mike was superb.
MPJ and AG made as many threes as the entire Oklahoma City Thunder.
Wow. 9.
It's hard to lose when you get that. And MPJ completely took over the game for a stretch. He also had a really impressive, like, nobody shoots that shot 3 where he was coming off a dribble handoff from Yoke. So the Nuggets, it's weird because I think they're both playing their best basketball of the season right now, but they're also not playing their style that normally wins them games.
It's weird. They've never felt in firm control of any game yet. And I think that's what's so interesting.
Well, I think they were in firm control of Game 7 against the Clippers.
Of this series.
Okay. Yeah.
Game 7. Let's put the Clippers to bed, right? But I think this series, it's never felt like Denver has firmly controlled the game. But I also don't think that's uncommon. I mean, you and I were talking about a pregame. I think every game that Denver's going to win is going to be like this: narrow margins. Did you make the shot? Did you miss the shot? Did they make the shot? Did they miss the shot? And that's okay because the Oklahoma City Thunder are an incredible basketball team. 68 wins for a reason. Deep, young, hungry, shot making. They have it all. A win is a win, though.
So the Oklahoma City Thunder this season, I think, are 72 and 10. I'm going to say, I think it's 72 and 10 against everyone in the NBA, not named the Denver Nuggets. They're 3-4 against the Denver Nuggets this season. That's impressive in itself. The Nuggets so far this playoffs, 6-4. They're 4-0 in games that go into crunch time. And I do think that, you know, for all that's the hoopla that's made about playoff experience that I normally don't really totally buy into, especially because I believe there's a difference between, you know, playoff experience just being there like James Harden, or playoff experience in your coaching staff, which does not get talked about enough.
Good point.
David Adelman's an inexperienced coach, but do you give him experience because he won a title and his dad was in it's weird.
He's been in the mix.
Right. So it's like, do the Nuggets have an experienced staff, but not an experienced head coach? But then you see it play out on the floor, which with Coach Jokic and Jamal just being an all-time playoff killer and Aaron Gordon joining the mix. The Nuggets don't buckle. They do not care if the game gets right. And that's the thing that's made them so special for so many years. They're selfless and they come through in the clutch. They're the clutchest merchants of all time in the NBA over the last couple of years. And Oklahoma City doesn't know how to deal with it. And it's so bizarre because throughout the course of most of the game, it's OKC leading by, 9. It's bouncing back from 5 to 9, 5 to 9, 5 to 9. Nuggets go on a run, take a 2-point lead. OKC, it's a 3. It's back out to 5 really quickly. But then it gets into crunch time all of a sudden. And the Thunder forget how to play basketball. It's bizarre. I would have said before the series, I don't want SGA taking a last shot. I've seen him throughout the rest of the regular season. He's a killer in crunch time. I want the ball in Jalen Williams' hands. He hasn't proved it in the playoffs. I want the ball in Chet Holmgren's hands. We saw that already.
Yeah.
But SGA also hasn't proven it. He hasn't had a moment in the playoffs
He had a
yet.
chance to put the Thunder ahead there right before the Jokic miss at the end of regulation on the mid, which has been absolute bucket for him, and he missed it.
Well, and that shot was really similar to one that happened in the regular season. The Nuggets in Game 2 against the Thunder this year at Ball Arena win the game on a Peyton Watson block at the end on a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander mid-range miss. The Nuggets have gone through the wars. We have seen it happen, and we've seen it play out throughout the course of the season. And David Adelman says after the game, we see experience because of the things you remember both from wins and losses. And I think the Nuggets have drawn on so many different things that they've experienced throughout not only this season, but this core. And I think you see that camaraderie play out. And Mark Dagnall said this really interesting thing today too, is we're in the process of becoming a great team. He wouldn't call them a great team. We're in the process of becoming a great team. And to be a great team, you need to do some of the things that a championship level team like the Nuggets are able to do, no matter what the talent, no matter what the regular season record tells you.
As I always like to say about the Thunder, and I'm not trying to discredit them whatsoever, they're still earning their stripes. I mean, this is a team that 2 years ago was in the play-in, right? And then last year they get bounced by Dallas in the second round. I mean, look, they are an incredible team. I've said it time and time again on this show. So if you've heard this before, I'm sorry, but if you're new, listen up. The NBA regular season, in my opinion, means the least out of any of the regular seasons across.
We're just telling you right now all the things we've learned from the regular season.
Well, but point being, like, that's where I don't fear, and we have the numbers to back it up. I do not fear Oklahoma City in the pressure cooker. The way Oklahoma City is going to win basketball games the rest of this series and moving forward, if they get past Denver, is they're going to blow teams out. When they are in tight scenarios, tight margins, 10 or less, I don't trust them at all.
Okay.
How could you?
I've got a couple different things for you right here. The line, as we play Guess the Lines again, the line on game 4 here in Denver, Colorado, Sunday afternoon at 1:30 is what?
OKC -3.
OKC -5.5.
Wow.
It's holding
I was
steady.
honestly going to guess the same, but I thought there would be a little respect for Denver.
The Vegas computers are holding steady on the OKC odds, game 1 to game 2, game 3 to game 4. The odds in the series, I kind of hinted at it earlier. It has moved a little bit since I've checked. Oklahoma City is what in the series now?
Well, I'll guess Denver's probably around 2-1. I'll say Oklahoma City -190-ish.
-235.
That's wow.
Pretty steep in a 2-for-1.
Wow.
You're getting your phone out to lay one right now. Yeah, I see it.
My phone is right here. I'm putting it back down.
Okay.
My hands are free.
I'm like, wow, this guy is really high on this. Okay. The championship odds right now across the NBA. Who do you think is the favorite to win the NBA championship, and what are their odds?
That's the favorite. I think it still might be OKC.
Yep. And
4-1, 5-1.
what would the plus be on that?
Like +400, +500?
+175 on OKC to win the title.
Oh, I'm sorry. I answered that completely wrong. Sorry. I should have said minus whatever. But point being, yes, short favorite though.
Short favorite. Boston's +330. Cleveland's +490. Denver below Minnesota at +1,000 still. So the Nuggets have, not great odds according to Vegas of winning.
I also think that's fair though. I think that's fair. I mean, yes, they're up 2-1. They're going to have to win another game in Oklahoma City.
When they were up 2-1 on Phoenix in round 2, they were heavy favorites to still win the title.
Yeah.
So
2 years ago, you're saying.
Yeah. So a little bit different. I believe the Nuggets were maybe the favorites or second favorites behind Boston, even when they got it back to 2-2 against Minnesota last year too. So kind of interesting to see the way Vegas is playing this. As David Adelman said, one of my favorite quotes so far from him, it doesn't matter what the story is. You guys keep trying to write a -1. We're going to keep being here. And it was a really interesting quote and a telling quote. And these guys' adversity and the drive comes through again. I thought there was multiple times throughout the course of this game where the Nuggets could have given up. They were down, 7, 8, 9 points, and they couldn't get a defensive rebound to save their life. Another thing we learned in the regular season, the Nuggets are a really bad defensive rebounding team, and it killed them tonight. And I told you going into this series, I thought the Nuggets would have to out-rebound the Thunder, get a better game from Jokic than any player on their side, and outshoot Oklahoma City from the free throw line by about 8. They shoot 2 more free throws, get out-rebounded, and Jokic was maybe the 5th best player in this game. Maybe 6th or 7th.
Maybe.
So just an unbelievable recipe that results in a Nuggets win that I could not foresee coming in any circumstance.
So let me ask you this. Now, as we look forward to game 4, I mean, if Denver wins game 4, you've got 3 games to win 1. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, though. How does Denver make sure what happened in game 2 doesn't happen again?
You sit your guys down tomorrow after film and you say, I don't care what happens on Tuesday. We're going to win it tonight. We're going to go up 3-1. You guys aren't going to blow it. We're going to give ourselves a couple chances to win on the back end of this series. If the Nuggets go up 3-1, we don't know what Oklahoma City is going to do in a closeout game, no matter the Nuggets' effort level. But the Nuggets have an opportunity to basically put a death punch on OKC.
Yes.
Only a couple teams have ever come back from 3-1.
Denver twice.
So if I'm the Nuggets, I'm having a serious conversation with my guys saying, I know where you guys are at. I know how exhausted you guys are. I know the rotations for them and how deep they are. But we have a chance on our home floor to go up 3-1. We have to do it.
Yep.
So to me, the Nuggets have to push. They pushed all their chips in tonight. They have to do it again.
Yes.
And that's the only way. It's like the Nuggets are playing the most dangerous game in gambling. They're just putting all their chips in on almost every single hand. And you can figure out Tuesday once you're up 3-1. If you put in all your chips and you go 2-2 and then you go down 3-2, you're going to be in a rough place. You do have 2 days off between game 6 and 7. And as much as I want to maybe see the legacy game from Nikola Jokic in game 5, when it seems like SGA might get the MVP in Oklahoma City on Tuesday, I think this is now the most important game of the Denver Nuggets season. And that says a lot given they just played a game 7, because
100%.
if they win this, it's the most impressive thing that they've done. If they've won this series, it's the most impressive thing they've done besides actually winning the title.
100%. And I thought tonight was a must win. I don't think you want to come in here, after getting blown out in game 2 and just cough back up home court advantage, which you worked so hard for to get in game 1. So I think now game 4, to your point, becomes the most important game of the season. And from there, you give yourself some outs, using the gambling term as well, right? Okay, like I'm playing poker. This card comes up, that card comes up. And so I think I completely agree. And we're going to see just what the Denver Nuggets are made of. I'll put it this way. If Denver wins game 4, they can win a championship.
I agree with you.
That's where I'm at.
Game 4 win leads to the path of a championship opening up. I will tell you on that as well. I thought the Nuggets, again, they could have folded. They go down, a couple points in the first quarter. Jokic checks out to start the second quarter. They're down 6, and they can't get a rebound.
Yep. They couldn't get an offensive rebound to save their lives tonight.
Mm-hmm. Didn't have an offensive rebound in the first half. I thought they could have folded in the non-Jokic minutes. So those non-Jokic minutes at the start of game 3, if the Nuggets are able to do the thing we just talked about, we're going to come back to game 3 against the Thunder in those 3 minutes without Jokic on the floor at the start of the second quarter. And it seems so meaningless in the grand scheme of things, but that little thing can flip an entire season.
100%.
And it may have tonight for the Denver Nuggets, who go into Sunday in the brunch crowd at Ball Arena, 1:30. We'll see how the young Thunder team wake up after the spoils of Denver might be able to get to them.
I'm expecting a big punch. And I think it was Cecil who I was talking about it with at the game tonight. I talk to so many people when I'm here that I forget sometimes, or maybe it was Zach By, follow us on social media as well. You have to expect that Oklahoma City is going to come out in those first 6 or 7 minutes of game 4, and they're going to play at 115, 120%. If Denver can withstand that onslaught, that push from Oklahoma City, they have a chance to win the game. I think the game will be won or lost, much like in game 2, early in that first quarter.
Something that happened to the Clippers too, and granted, they're a much older team. The thing we don't see in the regular season often in Denver is teams play 2 games in 3 nights or 2 games in a row in Denver. And it's something the Lakers complain about. And granted, the Lakers complain about absolutely everything. I hate those people. I just hate them.
You and me both, brother.
The second game in 3 days, less than 3 whole days at altitude. That's something the Thunder don't know how to deal with. And it's something the Nuggets have done all season long. And granted, the Thunder should be the more rested team. They've had Lou Dort literally play 6 basketball games since April 8th, and the Nuggets have played 6 games in the last 11 days.
Yep.
It's a different level of rest that the Thunder have compared to the Nuggets. But the thing that might be the great equalizer, and as silly as this sounds from a local sports guy compared to the national guys that are always talking about the altitude, I saw it happen to the Clippers in game 4.
Yes.
Will it happen to the Thunder in game 4? I think there's a chance that, maybe SGA goes off a little bit more. I don't think he's going to have this bad of a game again.
Jokic won't either.
Right. But I also think that, Thunder probably shoot a little bit better from 3. So maybe the Thunder's process is a little bit better in game 4, but I could see the result being even worse for them.
Only time will tell. And I think what I just said, even if SGA pops off, you hope that Jokic rebounds, and not that they'll cancel each other out, right? But that's going to change the entire dynamic of this game. The question is, can Michael Porter Jr. show up for 2 in a row? Aaron Gordon, you expect to be good. Can Jamal play well again? I mean, Denver has a lot going for them right now. And to bring it back to where we kind of started on this dynamic, foot on the gas. This is the most important game coming up on Sunday. Denver's not great in the early slot. They prefer to play at night. Jokic talked about that time and time again, so that worries me a little bit.
So does Oklahoma City, I bet, too.
Yeah.
Because everyone's body clock in the NBA, you guys, normal people, would be freaked out by this. they wake up at like noon or 1 o'clock every single day because they're playing these games till midnight,
Right.
you know? So while you're in your jammies at home,
it's 1 a.m. right now,
Yeah.
basically.
I'm on the NBA clock right now. I can tell you, I'll be up till 4 a.m. So it's really hard to wake up for these games. So we'll just see how Aaron Gordon and specifically Christian Brown bring that physicality, bring that mentality to the start of game 4, because I think it's going to be the biggest test Oklahoma City has faced in the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander era. And it's one that might lead to some significant questions about Mark Daigneault in the future. Shout out to our friends over at Mountain High Appliance. We couldn't do this podcast without them.
Shout out.
And the Denver Nuggets couldn't do it without Aaron Gordon this postseason. It's another shot, as DA says. He's Aniello Piro. I'm Jake Shapiro. Follow all of our content on denversports.com. Make sure you shoot us a like, subscribe, comment, all those things over on YouTube. We really appreciate it. And shout out to our guy, I don't know how to pronounce your name, who said we're the favorite Nuggets podcasters. Where we go? Right?
No, that was a different one.
A little bit up.
It was up. We got some good interaction tonight.
Yeah.
This one was good too.
Yeah, we appreciate you, brother. We see the comments. We appreciate your interactions, and we will hopefully see some more Sunday afternoon when we talk to you next, when the Denver Nuggets will be up 3-1.
Buckle up. It'll be a good one. Follow him at Shapiro. I'm at Media by AP. Signing off from Ball Arena. Get ready for Game 4.
My high hoops.